Hello everyone, David here, MixBus TV. We are in our new studio in Los Angeles, California, the Bunker Studio. And for this studio, we picked as our main monitors Eve Audio 3070's midfield monitors. And today, I'll tell you what I think about it. Let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back to MixBus TV. Before we start, please check the info box down below. In there you will find the link to Eve Audio 3070s, free plugins, special discounts, and a lot more. And if you haven't already, please go check out the new website, mixplustv.com. In there you will find all the available mix and mastering courses. You can book mix consultation, private lessons, mix and mastering, and all the other services. And if you want to up your mix and mastering game, click the join button down here, become a MixBus TV member, access all the exclusive videos. And if the content is helping you, consider using the super thanks and support the channel, or grab some merch. Let's talk about the monitors. All right, so if you've been following me for a while, you know I am beyond loyal to Eve Audio monitors. My main monitors in my private studio are the 3012s, and for this studio, we picked the 3070s, an incredibly efficient compact monitor. Before going into specs and tell you what I really like about the 3070s, let me tell you what I like in general about Eve Audio. Unlike other companies, Eve Audio doesn't have a top tier series, a mid series, and a cheap series. All their monitors share the same components. So the air motion transformer tweeter that you find on the 3070s or any other monitor is the same exact as you see in my 3012's main speakers. Just the size is different, obviously. And the same goes for the silver cone of the drivers. And specifically, one of the reasons because we decided to go with the 3070s is that they are extremely compact, and yet they sound absolutely huge. With 335 watts of power, we have a 7-inch main driver, a 4-inch driver, and the air motion transformer tweeter. These monitors are extremely balanced, extremely fast on the transient, yet not so fast and not so detailed that your mixes are gonna sound dull outside of your studio, because that's a problem that we had with other monitors before. And when I say we, I mean me and Mike, my associate here at the new studio. He will chime in and tell you what he thinks as well. Some studio monitors are so detailed and so sharp that you tend to soften things in the studio because they hit your ears very hard. And then what happens is you listen to your mix outside and it's dull and lifeless. The entire series of Eve Audio monitors doesn't do this. They have the perfect balance between being detailed and fast on the transient. At the same time, they are not fatiguing and they translate extremely well. And one thing about the tweeter, you probably have seen similar tweeter as the 3070s or the other Eve Audio monitors. And I want to stress similar, never the same, because their tweeter is a unique design. And what you will find in some other monitors is the sweet spot of those tweeter is extremely narrow. As soon as you get out the sweet spot, you start losing detail, you start losing the flat frequency response and the balance. Eve Audio monitors have an incredibly wide sweet spot. We can move left to right from the entire width of our desk, or even going back and forth. We never lose the sweet spot. Two things about the 3070s in particular that make them quite unique. One, stereo field and stereo placement. The way they reproduce the sound stage, depth-wise and width-wise, is second to none. We can hear perfectly when we position elements in our mix front to back, left to right, and high to low. This is not common for studio monitors. It's not common for studio monitors at this price range. Every tail of reverbs, every small change in the stereo field and the positioning, you can hear this perfectly on these monitors because the mid-range is actually where the money is at. These monitors have a perfect reproduction of the mid-range. That doesn't mean that the top end and the low end are any less. In fact, I actually have several friends and several big studios here in LA who bought Eve Audio monitors after either my advice or coming to my place and listen to them. You can see several videos of me being at Atlantic Studio West. They have a pair of Eve Audio in every room. That's a big testament. But I also want to talk about the low end because it's kind of crazy still, and we've been using these monitors here in the studio for about a month now, and it's still surprising when we play anything in these monitors how big and solid and clean the low end is. because this is a compact monitor. It's crazy to me because I come from my personal studio here and I would expect so much more difference between my main monitors, which are probably 4 times the size of these, and the 3070, and there's not. Of course, there is some extension, volume difference, and the air moved is different because of just the real estate. But the accuracy of the low end of the 3070s, it's pretty insane. And that's not just because of the driver, but it's because of the unique port design that Eve Audio has. That's actually the one thing, the low end, that made me fall in love so much with Eve Audio monitors. The way the rear port is designed make it so on basically any model of Eve Audio that I tried or worked on, the low end is always much deeper and much more extended than you would expect from a monitor this size. But here's the trick. Many other compact monitors have extended low end, but it's hype. They designed the monitor so that you have the impression that there's more low end than it is. But the problem is many times it's loose, it's not as focused, and it doesn't translate well. On top of that, we have to consider distortion. Eve Audio monitors are extremely efficient. Even in the lowest range, they are distortion free. And that's the key for your mixes to translate, especially for bottom heavy material. Speaking of distortion, let me show you the distortion graph right here. And this instead is the frequency response of the 3070s. And I know graphs tell only part of the story, but I'm telling you all the rest of the story right here. Mixing on these monitors gives me pretty much the same confidence that my mixes are gonna translate as I do with my mains. So if you're looking for a midfield compact monitor that is powerful, linear response, great bass response that translates outside of your studio, you should probably take a look at these two guys. And of course, the 3070 comes with the same onboard DSP as my mains, as all the other monitors in the line. First of all, the onboard DSP provides latency-free filtering, while at the same time protecting the drivers and the tweeter from overload across the entire frequency spectrum. On board, we have controls for lows, mids, highs, a desk filter to counteract the reflections, for example, of a desk like this one or a mixing board, so you can customize your response or simply your taste. And once you've done that, there's a lock on the back of the speakers to lock those settings just in case someone touches them by accident. Nothing is gonna change. And on the back, we also have the connection XLR, balanced, or RCA unbalanced. Before we go, I'm gonna have Mike come here and tell you what he thinks about them.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike, the co-owner of the Bunker Recording Studios with David, Mixbus TV. Here we're gonna talk about the new monitors that we got from Eve Audio, the 3070s.
So Mike, you're also, of course, a producer and a mix engineer.
Yes.
And you have been working with these monitors for how long? About a month now?
I've had about a month of use for sure. Okay. About a month, yeah.
Is this the first time you hear Eve Audio monitors?
Yeah, this is the very first time I've ever used Eve Audio monitors. I honestly love them so far. These monitors aren't like your typical two-way monitors. I've used two-ways for years now, and switching over to the three-way Eves, it's a crazy difference. Right off the bat, you notice that the mid-range is so much more present because of that mid-range driver. It's a whole completely different listening experience. The way that you monitor your audio is completely different than a normal two-way system. You have so much more to hear, and there's so many more details that you would hear just a normal two-way system, which also means there's a lot of mistakes that you'll be able to hear that you'll be able to correct because of this.
What's the one thing that you like the most about them?
The low end. The low end. It's great. It's absolutely great. It's such a clean, tight low end compared to any other studio monitor that I've heard on the market.
Are they loud enough for a big room like this?
For such a compact monitor, you'd be surprised on how loud these things actually get. They're honestly super impressive, and I'm quite frankly blown away with the results.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Take care, everybody.
And so that was Mike's testimony on the Eve 3070s. And we had about probably how many? 5 different brands and types of monitors here in the studio at this point.
Yeah.
So definitely the choice wasn't just because I like Eve, because this is a commercial facility. So other people are gonna mix and produce here way more than I do. And so we made the choice thinking about that. Like, we wanted a pair of monitors that everybody could feel at home right away, didn't have a learning curve, and most important, they could trust. And I know this question has probably come up in the comments, so I go ahead and respond to it. Do you need a sub with these? Well, a sub won't hurt. The response of these monitors, it's plenty to mix any genre, and they are full range, 3-way, 7-inch driver with the bass port. The extension of the low end will make you scratch your head when you listen to them being this compact. But do you want to throw an Eve sub on top of it? You will definitely be very close to my giant main in my personal studio, and they would definitely match well together. So I think this is it for this video. If you guys have questions, leave them in the comments down below. In the description box, you will find the link to Eve Audio 3070s and a lot more things. Check out the new website, MixQuestTV.com. Subscribe if you haven't already. Stay safe. See you next time.
Hands on my neck, hands grip my throat. Lift me up, man, take control. Heart is so